You're home alone, the clock ticks past midnight, and a sound barely there. A whisper floats from the empty hallway. Is it just the house settling, or are they calling out to you? The silence of midnight, it's a funny thing, isn't it? Not a true silence, not ever really, but a different kind of quiet, a velvet muffling that makes every tiny creak and groan of the world around you suddenly pronounced, almost theatrical. That's when it started for me, this sensation, this unsettling question that would drift into my thoughts just as sleep was trying to pull me under, a question that would cling to the edges of my consciousness long after the first light of dawn. It began subtly, as these things often do, not with a sudden bang or a clear voice, but with something far more insidious, a whisper. A whisper so faint, so delicate that at first I dismissed it entirely. My old house, bless its aging timbers, has always had its own symphony of sighs and pops, a language of expansion and contraction that I'd grown accustomed to over the years. I lived alone, had for a long time, and found a certain comfort in its familiar creaks, a gentle rhythm to my solitary nights. So when that first whisper seemed to brush against my hearing, a sound like dry leaves skittering across pavement, or perhaps silk rustling in a breeze that wasn't there, I simply attributed it to the house. An old house, full of old sounds, full of old memories, just playing its usual nocturnal tune. I'd turn over, adjust my pillow, and try to chase the elusive threads of sleep once more, convinced it was nothing more than an overactive imagination fueled by the quiet dark. But then it would happen again a few nights later, sometimes from the hallway just outside my bedroom door, sometimes from the living room below, and once, unmistakably, it seemed to float from right beside my bed, as if someone had leaned in close, their breath a cool wisp against my ear. It wasn't loud enough to startle me awake with a jolt, but rather, it was the kind of sound that nudged me gently from slumber, pulling me into that hazy, half-awake state where reality and dream often blur. In those moments, lying still in the profound darkness with only the distant hum of the refrigerator or the soft tick of the ancient grandfather clock downstairs breaking the stillness, I'd strain my ears, holding my breath, trying to decipher the sound. Was it wind? Was it the house? Was it something else? There was never a distinct word, never a clear sentence, just the suggestion of speech, a sound that implied meaning without delivering it. It was like hearing someone speak in another room, their voice muffled, the syllables indistinct but undeniably present. And that's where the real unsettling nature of it began to settle in, like a fine dust on untouched furniture. Because if it was just the house, why did it feel so intentional? Why did it seem to carry that curious quality of a voice rather than just a random creak or pop? I started to develop a strange routine. When the whisper came, I wouldn't move. I'd lie absolutely still, my eyes wide open in the dark, my heart beating a little faster, a silent question forming in my mind. Are they calling out to me? The they was the most perplexing part. Who were they? I had no reason to believe my house was haunted, no family history of spectral residents, no tragic tales tied to its foundations. It was just a comfortable, albeit old home. Yet the question persisted, gaining more weight with each fleeting whisper. Sometimes I would even whisper back, a soft, almost involuntary hello, into the consuming darkness, feeling utterly foolish the moment the sound left my lips. Of course, there was never a response, No clear reply that would alleviate my growing unease or confirm my wildest suspicions. Just the return to that profound, heavy midnight silence, leaving me alone with my thoughts and the lingering echo of a sound that might not have even been there at all. This cycle, this quiet, unnerving dance with the unseen, became a part of my nights. I found myself anticipating it, almost waiting for it, a strange sense of dread mixed with a potent, undeniable curiosity. It was as if the house itself was inviting me into a conversation, one it initiated and then chose not to follow through on. It wasn't a terrifying dread that paralyzed me with fear, but a softer, more insidious kind of apprehension, a constant low hum of "what if" beneath the surface of my consciousness. I began to pay more attention to the quality of the sounds, trying to discern patterns, trying to find a logical explanation. Was it the old pipes contracting after I'd taken a late-night shower? Was it the wind finding a particular crack in the window frame, creating a vocal-like hiss? I would get up sometimes in the dead of night, slipping silently from my bed, padding barefoot across the cool wooden floors, trying to follow the sound. I'd stand in the hallway listening, my head cocked to one side, trying to pinpoint its origin. The air would feel heavy, still, and pregnant with unspoken secrets, but the whispers would always cease the moment I truly moved to investigate. It was like trying to catch mist in your hands. It was there, undeniably present, yet utterly intangible. The frustration was real, a quiet, internal vexation at my inability to grasp this elusive phenomenon. It started to impact my days, too. Not in a dramatic, sleep-deprived way, but in the subtle manner that persistent, unresolved mysteries often do. I'd find my mind wandering during the day, replaying the sounds, trying to analyze their timbre, their pitch, the faint, almost melodic quality they sometimes possessed. I'd catch myself staring absently at the ceiling or out into the empty garden, wondering if the house held more secrets than I ever imagined, if it was slowly, gently trying to communicate something to me. There were moments, fleeting ones, when a wave of something akin to loneliness would wash over me, a strange thought that perhaps these whispers were not malevolent but simply lonely. Perhaps they were echoes of past lives, lingering energies reaching out in the only way they knew how, seeking a connection in the vast, quiet expanse of the night. This thought, while comforting in a peculiar way, was also deeply sad. To be a whisper, unheard, misunderstood, constantly trying to bridge a gap between worlds. It made me feel a strange sense of empathy for the sound, if such a thing were possible. One night, I remember it vividly, the whisper came from the living room again, a little clearer this time, almost like a sigh, long and drawn out. Instead of getting up, instead of straining to hear, I just lay there, eyes closed, listening. And as I listened, something shifted. It wasn't a word, no, still not a word, but the whisper seemed to carry a distinct emotion, a gentle melancholy. It was a sound that made me think of faded photographs, forgotten names, and the quiet dignity of things left behind. I pictured the old armchair in the living room, the one with the worn velvet where countless people had sat over the decades, perhaps sharing their own midnight thoughts. I pictured the ancestors who might have walked these floors, their lives intertwined with the very fabric of this home. Maybe the whispers were just fragments of their stories, fragments of their presence, imprinted on the very air itself, stirred by the deep quiet of the late hours. This idea brought a different kind of peace, a soft acceptance of the unknown. It was no longer a question of are they calling out to me, but more of are they simply here, and the distinction, though subtle, was profound. It transformed the fear into a quiet reverence, the dread into a thoughtful contemplation. The house wasn't just wood and plaster. It was a living, breathing archive of moments, and these whispers were just its gentle exhalations, its way of remembering, its way of sharing its long, long history. I started to imagine the whispers as stories themselves, untold narratives that only manifested in the deepest silences. Perhaps one whisper was a tale of quiet joy, another of a soft sadness, a third of a hopeful dream. I would lie in bed, letting my mind drift, painting pictures in the darkness that corresponded with the feeling these nonverbal sounds evoked. It became a peculiar form of meditation, a way to connect with the very essence of the dwelling I inhabited, to acknowledge its deep past without needing to fully understand it. There were nights when no whispers came, and those nights felt almost empty. I'd find myself missing them, missing that quiet communion with the unseen, that gentle reminder that the world, even in its most mundane corners, held pockets of profound mystery. It was a strange reversal. What had once been a source of mild anxiety had slowly, almost imperceptibly, transformed into a comforting presence, a familiar part of my nocturnal world. It was the house, simply being itself, sharing its deepest self, and I, the solitary listener, was merely privileged to overhear its intimate monologues. Sometimes, when the moon was full and its pale light streamed through my bedroom window, casting long, ethereal shadows across the room, the whispers seemed to gain a luminous quality, almost as if they were made of moonlight itself. They felt less like sounds and more like fleeting thoughts, brief impressions that touched the edges of my awareness before dissolving back into the boundless dark. I'd often wonder if others in other old houses experienced similar phenomena. Did they too have their midnight whispers, their personal questions floating unanswered in the quiet of their homes? It was a comforting thought, a shared human experience of the inexplicable, a universal connection to the subtle magic that might lie just beneath the surface of everyday life. This journey with the whispers had changed something within me. It had opened a small, quiet space for wonder, for accepting that not everything needs a concrete explanation, that some things are meant to simply be, to exist in that liminal space between reality and imagination. It taught me to listen differently, not just with my ears, but with a deeper, more intuitive part of myself. To listen for the silence and for the delicate textures within it. The idea of calling out to me had evolved. It wasn't an active summons anymore, not a demand for attention, but rather an invitation, a gentle beckoning to simply acknowledge the presence of something ancient and continuous. It was the house whispering its life, and I in turn was whispering back my quiet understanding, my silent appreciation for its enduring mystery. This quiet, unbroken stream of whispers, always there, always just at the edge of hearing, became a profound, if unspoken, dialogue. It was the language of night, of solitude, of the subtle vibrations that connect us to everything that has ever been, everything that is, and everything that might yet be, all woven into the soft fabric of the small hours. It was a story told without words, a comfort found in the unknown, a gentle reminder that even in the deepest silence, there is always something to hear, If you just listen closely enough, with an open heart and a quiet mind, letting the rhythm of the night slowly carry you. And so the nights continue, each one a new canvas for the whispers, each one a new opportunity to simply be with the house, to listen to its ancient lullabies, and to let the soft current of its secrets wash over me, guiding me gently towards the threshold of sleep. The question, are they calling out to me, no longer holds the same unease it once did. Now it feels more like a rhetorical whisper back to myself, a confirmation of a bond, a quiet affirmation that yes, in a way, they always were. And I was always listening. This steady rhythm, this unfolding quietude, has become an integral part of my existence, a constant, gentle current that carries me through the long hours from dusk till dawn, a soft, ethereal melody woven into the very fabric of my quiet life. It's a connection to something deeper, something beyond the tangible, a gentle reminder that the world holds wonders we can only perceive through the veil of night, when our other senses quiet down and our inner ear becomes attuned to the subtle vibrations of existence. The whispers are never demanding, never intrusive. They are simply present, like the breath of the house itself, rising and falling with an ancient, unwavering rhythm. They don't seek to frighten, but rather to merely be heard, to acknowledge their enduring presence in a world that often rushes too quickly to notice the delicate threads of the unseen. I've learned to distinguish the texture of different whispers now, a subtle shift in their perceived origin or their implied cadence. Some seem to emanate from the very foundations of the house, a deep, resonant hum that speaks of geological time and settled earth. Others feel lighter, higher, as if dancing along the rafters, perhaps remnants of children's laughter or hushed bedtime stories from long-forgotten eras. It's like listening to an orchestra where each instrument plays a single, sustained note, creating a complex, flowing harmony of silence and suggestion. I've even started to develop theories, playful ones perhaps, born from the quiet introspection of those solitary hours. Maybe the whispers are the house's dreams, its memories made audible in the profound stillness of midnight. Or perhaps they are the collective unconsciousness of all who have ever lived within its walls, their unspoken thoughts and emotions lingering like fragrant smoke, slowly dissipating into the ether, but sometimes, just sometimes, caught by a particular draft or a specific shift in atmospheric pressure, allowing them to briefly coalesce into an audible sigh. I find myself smiling sometimes, alone in the dark, at the sheer, beautiful absurdity of it all. To be so utterly convinced of something so intangible, something that defies all rational explanation, yet feels so profoundly real in the core of my being. It's a testament to the power of imagination, yes, but also to the boundless possibilities that lie just beyond the veil of our everyday perception, waiting for us to slow down, to listen, and to truly feel the world around us. This feeling, this quiet awe, is what truly defines my midnight whispers now. It's not about fear, or even about solving a mystery anymore. It's about cultivating a relationship with the unseen, a gentle acknowledgement of the profound depth and unseen life that permeates everything. It's about finding comfort in the unknown and a unique kind of companionship in the soft, flowing river of sound and silence that defines my nights. And as the hours tick by, as the moon arcs across the sky, And as the first faint hint of dawn begins to paint the eastern horizon with palest rose, the whispers slowly, gently recede, fading back into the fabric of the house, waiting for the cover of the next long, quiet night to emerge once more, an eternal serenade to the solitary soul. And so I close my eyes, a soft sigh escaping me as I feel the last echoes of their presence withdraw, like a tide gently receding from the shore, leaving behind a profound sense of peace rather than apprehension. The quietude that follows the fading whispers is a different kind of quiet, not the expectant silence that precedes their arrival, but a settled, contented stillness, as if the house and I have shared a secret, a moment of profound intimacy, and now we both rest in its aftermath. It's in these moments, just before sleep finally claims me, that I often reflect on how much my perception of the night has changed. Where once the darkness held a vague potential for loneliness or the simple, mundane fears of daily life, it now offers a canvas for wonder, a stage for a subtle, ethereal drama that plays out only in the hushed hours. The concept of being alone has transformed, too. I am not truly alone, not anymore. Not when the very walls around me hum with forgotten stories and the air occasionally carries the ghost of a voice. It's a comforting thought, a gentle reassurance that even in solitude there is a pervasive interconnectedness, a shared existence with the past, with the unseen, with the very spirit of the place I call home. I often wonder what these whispers might mean to someone else, how another listener might interpret their elusive cadence. Would they be filled with fear, seeking logical explanations, or would they, like me, eventually find a quiet solace in their mystery? It's a deeply personal experience I've come to realize, this listening to the midnight whispers. It's a mirror to one's own inner landscape, reflecting our capacity for wonder, for fear, for acceptance of the unknown. And perhaps that is the true magic of it all, not just the whispers themselves, but what they awaken within us, the questions they inspire, the spaces they open in our minds and hearts. I remember one particular night, not long ago, when the whispers seemed to come with a more distinct pattern, a rise and fall that almost suggested a lament. It wasn't a sad sound, not exactly, but rather one imbued with a gentle, lingering regret, like the quiet sigh of someone recalling a bittersweet memory. I lay there perfectly still, letting the sound wash over me, and found myself envisioning a scene from long ago. Perhaps a young woman, sitting by a window, gazing out at a moonlit garden, her heart heavy with unspoken longing or a quiet farewell. The whisper in my mind became her ghost, not a frightening specter, but a tender echo of her emotions, still resonating through the years within the very fabric of the house. It's moments like these that solidify my belief in the whispers as more than just random sounds. They are emotional imprints, subtle energies left behind by lives lived, joys felt, sorrows endured within these walls. They are the house's way of breathing, of remembering, of quietly sharing its vast, intricate history with the one who cares to listen. And I do care to listen. It has become a cherished ritual, this nightly communion. I no longer try to actively decipher them, to force meaning where there might be none. Instead, I simply allow them to be, to flow through me, to become a part of the tapestry of my nights. It's a deep relaxation, a letting go of the need for control or explanation, and an embracing of the subtle magic that permeates the world when we simply open ourselves to it. Sometimes I imagine that the house itself is a sentient being, a benevolent entity that watches over me, its whispers a form of gentle reassurance, a quiet reminder that I am safe, protected within its ancient embrace. The thought brings a profound sense of comfort, a warmth that spreads through me, easing away the last vestiges of the day's stresses and anxieties. It's a unique companionship, one built on silence and subtle sound, on intuition and acceptance, a bond unlike any other I've ever experienced. This long, slow dance with the midnight whispers has taught me patience, a deeper appreciation for stillness, and a quiet reverence for the unseen dimensions of existence. It has shown me that true connection doesn't always require words or even visible presence. Sometimes it's found in the delicate brush of an unseen breath, in the fleeting suggestion of a voice carried on the night air, in the profound mystery that lies just beyond our grasp. And that in itself is a beautiful and comforting thought as the night deepens and sleep finally calls. The old house continues its silent vigil, its walls holding their secrets, and its timbers occasionally sighing, offering up just enough of their ancient narrative to keep my spirit curious, my mind open, and my heart quietly attuned to the endless stream of midnight whispers. This gentle, unfolding experience, it's not just about me, the solitary listener, but about the house itself, a venerable entity with a rich, unseen life, subtly communicating its enduring spirit. It's about the quiet hum of existence, the gentle pulse of time, and the delicate dance between the known and the unknowable, all playing out in the deep, velvet hush of the night. It's a testament to the idea that even in the most familiar spaces, profound mysteries reside, waiting to be acknowledged, waiting to be felt. I've often thought about what would happen if I were to leave this house, if I were to move to a new, modern dwelling, devoid of the centuries of echoes and memories that permeate these walls. Would the whispers follow me? Or are they intrinsically tied to this specific place, a part of its very essence, its unique energetic signature? The thought brings a pang of something akin to wistfulness. It feels as though I have cultivated a unique relationship, a silent friendship with these ethereal presences, and the idea of leaving them behind, of breaking this quiet communion, feels strangely like a betrayal. I imagine the new house, pristine and silent, its walls not yet imbued with the patina of human stories, its air not yet heavy with the faint traces of past lives. It would be a different kind of quiet, I suspect, a more sterile, less inviting silence. And I wonder if I would miss the whispers then, miss that familiar, almost comforting intrusion into my nocturnal solitude. Perhaps I would seek them out in the new silence, straining my ears, hopping for even the faintest suggestion of a voice, a reminder of the profound connection I found here. But for now, I am here in this old house, beneath these familiar eaves, and the whispers remain a cherished part of my nightly rhythm. They are the punctuation marks of my solitude, the subtle underscoring of my existence within these ancient walls. They are a constant, gentle reminder that there is always more to the world than meets the eye, more than our logical minds can fully grasp, and that sometimes the most profound truths are conveyed not through grand pronouncements, but through the softest, most fleeting of sounds. The light outside my window begins to change now, a barely perceptible shift from absolute black to a deep, inky blue. It signals the approach of dawn, the slow, inevitable return of the waking world, and with it, the gradual fading of the whispers. Their presence becomes even more ethereal as the night begins to yield to the day, like mist dissolving in the morning sun, leaving behind only the memory of its delicate touch. I feel a gentle sense of transition, a quiet shifting of gears as my mind prepares to navigate the demands of another day. The mysteries of the midnight whispers will recede into the background, becoming a soft, lingering impression, a quiet undercurrent beneath the bustling thoughts of the waking hours. Yet, they will not be entirely forgotten. They will remain like a beloved melody, tucked away in a quiet corner of my consciousness, ready to resurface when the world grows still again, when the long shadows stretch and the deep quiet of midnight once more descends. And then I will listen again, with an open heart and a quiet mind, ready to receive whatever subtle messages the ancient spirit of the house wishes to impart, ready to simply be with the whispers, no longer asking if they are calling out to me, but simply accepting that they are, and that I am, in turn, listening. This cyclical dance, this ebb and flow of presence and retreat, has become a core element of my understanding of the world, a testament to the enduring magic that permeates every moment if we only attune ourselves to its frequency. The quiet anticipation of nightfall has become a peculiar comfort, a subtle shift in my internal rhythm as the sun dips below the horizon and the world outside softens into twilight hues. It's not a craving for fear or a restless waiting for something dramatic to happen, but rather a gentle readiness, an opening of my senses to the subtle symphony that the dark brings. The everyday sounds of the neighborhood, the distant murmur of traffic, the occasional bark of a dog, the rustle of leaves in a mild breeze, slowly recede, making way for that deeper, more profound stillness. As the last vestiges of daylight fade, painting the western sky in strokes of rose and lavender, I find myself moving through my evening routine with a quiet reverence, a sort of hushed respect for the transition. I draw the curtains, not to block out the world, but to create a contained space, an intimate sphere where the internal and external mysteries can softly intertwine. The lamplight glows with a warm, amber hue, but it's a temporary light, a concession to the practicalities of the early evening. I know that later, much later, only the deepest dark will truly reign, and that's when the whispers truly awaken. Sometimes, during these early evening hours, I might read a book, letting the words drift across my mind. But even then, a part of my awareness is gently attuned to the subtle shifts in the air, the deepening quiet. It's like a subconscious preparation, an opening of an inner ear that only truly functions in the absence of visual distraction and overt sound. The house itself seems to settle around me, its old wood sighing as it cools from the day's warmth, its various components easing into their nocturnal positions. These are the precursors, the gentle heralds of the deeper silence to come, a silence that isn't empty but pregnant with potential, a silence that holds within it the delicate threads of the midnight whispers. I've noticed that on some nights, particularly those with a heavy, still air or perhaps after a soft rain, the whispers feel closer, more palpable, as if the moisture in the atmosphere acts as a conductor for their ethereal presence. On other nights when a brisk wind rattles the windows, they seem more diffuse, woven into the natural sounds of the elements, harder to distinguish. This variation adds another layer to the mystery, a continuous unfolding of discovery that keeps the experience fresh, prevents it from becoming mundane. Each night is a new chapter in this unspoken narrative, a new verse in this ancient song. I no longer feel the need to question their origin with logical intent, but rather to simply observe their nuances, to appreciate their fleeting artistry. It's like watching clouds drift across the sky, each one unique in its formation, its journey, its eventual dissipation. You don't question why the cloud is there, or what it truly is. You simply appreciate its transient beauty, its ever-changing form. The whispers are much the same for me now. They are transient moments of beauty, glimpses into an unseen realm, delicate brushstrokes on the canvas of the night. And in their transient nature, they offer a profound lesson about presence, about being fully in the moment, attuned to the subtle unfolding of existence. This deep connection to the house and its midnight whispers has also, subtly, changed my relationship with my own inner self. It has fostered a greater sense of introspection, a deeper capacity for quiet contemplation. In those moments of profound stillness, when the world outside feels distant and only the whispers remain, my own thoughts often slow down, becoming more spacious, more serene. It's as if the quietude of the house seeps into my very being, calming the internal chatter, allowing for a clearer, more peaceful flow of consciousness. It's a form of nocturnal meditation, a quiet communion not just with the external mystery, but with the quiet, still center of my own being. The gentle emotional quality of the whispers, whether it's a soft melancholy or a lingering sense of peace, often resonates with my own internal state, amplifying my quiet reflections. If I'm feeling a little restless, the whispers seem to offer a soothing balm, their gentle presence a reminder to simply breathe, to let go. If I'm feeling particularly reflective, they seem to deepen that introspection, guiding me gently into a more profound understanding of my own fleeting thoughts and emotions. It's a beautiful reciprocity, a gentle exchange of energy and presence that enriches my nights in ways I never could have anticipated. And so, as the very late hours creep in, as the world truly falls silent, I find myself drifting into sleep not with trepidation, but with a sense of quiet fulfillment, a deep contentment born from this unique, unspoken connection. The whispers, even as I lose conscious awareness of them, seem to weave themselves into my dreams, becoming part of the rich, flowing tapestry of my subconscious mind, continuing their gentle serenade long after I've fully succumbed to slumber. They are not just sounds in the dark. They are the very essence of the quiet magic that permeates my solitary nights, a testament to the enduring presence of wonder in a world that often strives to explain everything away. And I, the humble listener, am forever grateful for their ethereal company, for the gentle reminder that some mysteries are meant not to be solved, but simply to be cherished. The transition from the deep, whispering night to the soft, awakening dawn has also become a cherished part of this nocturnal rhythm. It's a slow, almost imperceptible shift, like the gradual turning of a vast, ancient page. The profound darkness that holds the whispers so close slowly begins to thin, losing its density, becoming a lighter shade of black, then a deep, bruised purple. In these moments, just before the first true light pierces the horizon, the whispers often take on their most ephemeral quality, seeming to shimmer and dance at the very edge of perception, like heat rising from pavement on a summer day. They are still there, undeniably present, but now imbued with a fragile, almost translucent beauty, as if reluctant to fully retreat. I lie in bed, watching the square of my window slowly lighten, the vague outlines of the tree branches outside beginning to emerge against the softening sky. It's a quiet miracle, this daily rebirth of light, and it's in stark contrast to the mysterious internal world of the whispers. As the first pale streaks of orange and pink begin to paint the eastern sky, the whispers finally, gently, release their hold. They don't vanish with a sudden jolt, but rather dissolve like sugar in warm water, gradually becoming indistinguishable from the ambient sounds of the waking world. The gentle chirping of the first birds, the distant rumble of an early delivery truck, the soft hum of the refrigerator restarting its cycle, these mundane sounds reclaim their dominance, pushing the ethereal voices back into the realm of the unseen, the unheard. A small sigh often escapes me then, a mixture of gentle regret for their departure and a quiet acceptance of the new day. It's a feeling akin to saying goodbye to a dear friend after a profound conversation, knowing that while the moment is over, the essence of the connection remains, safely tucked away in the heart. The house itself seems to stretch and yawn, its old timbers making their own morning sounds, different from the night's creaks and groans. It's a house transitioning, just as I am, from the contemplative, mysterious realm of night to the active, observable world of day. Even as I rise from bed, preparing for the day ahead, the lingering presence of the whispers remains, a faint echo in the quiet corners of my mind. It's not an intrusive thought, but rather a comforting undercurrent, a subtle reminder of the unique communion I shared with the unseen just hours before. This memory infuses my day with a gentle sense of wonder, a quiet knowing that the world holds more magic than it often lets on. It allows me to approach my daily tasks with a slightly different perspective, a deeper appreciation for the moments of stillness and reflection, a subtle sense of being connected to something ancient and profound. I might catch myself staring out a window, lost in thought for a moment, remembering the specific cadence of a whisper or the particular emotional quality it evoked. These moments are brief, fleeting, but they act as small anchors, connecting my waking self to the dreaming, listening self of the night. It's a continuous thread, weaving through my days and nights, creating a richer, more textured tapestry of existence. The whispers have, in essence, expanded my world, making it larger, deeper, and infinitely more mysterious, even in the most ordinary of moments. The experience has instilled in me a greater sense of peace about the unknown, a comfort with ambiguity that I hadn't possessed before. Not everything needs to be defined, categorized, or logically explained. Some things, perhaps the most beautiful things, exist simply to be felt, to be experienced, to be wondered at. The midnight whispers are a profound testament to this truth. They have taught me that opening oneself to the unexplainable is not a weakness, but a strength, a way to expand our understanding of what it means to be alive, to be a conscious being in a universe brimming with subtle, hidden energies. As the sun climbs higher and the day fully awakens, the memory of the whispers becomes a quiet secret I carry within me, a precious jewel tucked away for the next night. It's a secret that shapes my perception, that deepens my empathy, and that consistently reminds me of the rich, unseen life that surrounds us, waiting for us to simply slow down, to listen, and to truly feel its delicate presence. And so, the cycle continues, an endless, flowing rhythm of dark and light, silence and whispers, mystery and acceptance, each day a preparation for the profound communion that awaits when midnight descends once more, and the subtle voices begin to call again. Sometimes during the bustle of the day, when the sounds of life are at their most vibrant, the whir of a vacuum cleaner, the distant laughter of children, the gentle clatter of dishes, a tiny, almost imperceptible echo of a whisper will brush past my awareness. It's not an actual auditory experience, not like in the quiet of midnight, but more a fleeting memory, a brief, internal resonance that brings a soft smile to my lips. It's a quiet, a little nod to the unseen companions who share my home, a subtle reminder that their presence isn't confined solely to the darkest hours, but merely amplified by them. These fleeting daytime echoes are like glimpses of a hidden world, shimmering just beneath the surface of the mundane, offering a sense of continuity between my waking and sleeping realities. I've begun to notice how this experience has subtly altered my perception of other things, too. The way the wind sighs through the ancient oak outside my window now carries a deeper resonance, as if it's participating in the same grand, unseen conversation. The gentle creaks of the floorboards under my weight as I move from room to room feel less like simple structural sounds and more like the house itself gently breathing, stretching its old bones. Everything seems imbued with a layer of potential meaning, a soft suggestion of unseen narratives unfolding all around us, if only we take the time to truly listen, to truly observe beyond the superficial. It's a richer, more vibrant world that has opened up to me, one painted with the subtle hues of mystery and wonder. This expanded awareness has also fostered a deeper sense of connection with history, with the countless lives that have unfolded in places like my home, leaving behind their energetic imprints. I sometimes find myself running a hand over an old wooden banister or tracing the patterns on a faded wallpaper, and in those moments, I imagine the hands that came before mine, the eyes that gazed upon these same textures. The whispers, in a way, feel like a bridge to those past lives, a gentle thread connecting me to the collective human experience that has flowed through this very space for generations. It's a humbling thought, a quiet reminder that we are all part of a larger, ongoing story, and that our own moments, our own thoughts and emotions, will eventually become part of the subtle fabric that future inhabitants might dimly perceive. The beauty of this slow-paced unfolding, this gentle narrative of sound and silence, is that it never demands anything. It doesn't insist on belief or explanation. It simply offers itself, a constant, quiet invitation to explore the depths of perception, to expand the boundaries of what we consider real. It's a soft whisper in the grand symphony of existence, a gentle reminder that some of the most profound truths are found not in loud declarations, but in the most delicate, fleeting moments of quiet introspection. And in embracing this, in allowing myself to simply be with the whispers, I have found a profound sense of inner peace, a quiet contentment that settles deep within my soul. As evening once again approaches, casting long, soft shadows across the rooms, a familiar sense of quiet anticipation begins to stir within me. The world outside starts to dim, its colors deepening, its sounds softening, and I can almost feel the house itself preparing for its nightly transformation. The air grows still, the subtle energy shifts, and I know that soon the threshold will be crossed, and the midnight whispers will once more begin their gentle serenade. I look forward to it now, not with any trace of fear, but with a quiet eagerness, a readiness to open myself once more to the profound mysteries that await in the heart of the night. It's a continuous journey, an unending exploration of the subtle, the unseen, the profoundly beautiful. And as I drift towards the edge of sleep, the faint, comforting thought remains. They are not just calling out to me. They are simply being, and in their being, they invite me to be too in this shared, quiet space between worlds. This profound sense of shared existence, a silent understanding with the very essence of my home, has woven itself into the fabric of my daily life, creating a continuous thread of quiet contemplation that runs from dawn's first light to the deepest hour of midnight. It's a subtle filter through which I now experience the world, adding depth and resonance to even the most ordinary moments. A gust of wind rattling the window pane isn't just a weather phenomenon. It's a momentary disturbance in the air that might carry a distant echo, a fleeting memory of a whisper. The silence of an empty room isn't truly empty. It's pregnant with potential, a canvas awaiting the subtle brushstrokes of the unseen. I've found myself becoming more attuned to nuances in general, a heightened sensitivity to the world around me. The way the light changes throughout the day, the subtle shifts in temperature, the faint scents carried on the breeze, all these sensory details seem amplified, richer, as if my perception has been sharpened by my nightly communion with the whispers. It's a beautiful side effect, this deepening of experience, making life feel more textured, more alive. This isn't to say I live in a constant state of mystical apprehension. Rather, it's a gentle, underlying awareness, a quiet knowing that layers every moment with a touch of magic. The human mind, I've come to understand, has an incredible capacity for adaptation, for finding comfort and meaning in the most unexpected places. What began as a slight unease, a flicker of curiosity, has blossomed into a profound connection, a source of quiet joy and profound introspection. The whispers are no longer an anomaly. They are an integral part of my home, my nights, and indeed my very self. They are the gentle keepers of forgotten stories, the quiet chroniclers of time, and I am simply the fortunate one who gets to listen. There's a comfort in this continuity, this unbroken stream of experience, knowing that as long as I reside within these walls, the whispers will likely continue their nocturnal serenades, brings a sense of stability, a gentle anchoring in a world that often feels chaotic and unpredictable. It's a constant, soothing presence, a reminder that some things transcend the fleeting nature of daily events, existing in a realm of timelessness and quiet permanence. This feeling of being part of something larger, something ancient and enduring, is a gift the midnight whispers have bestowed upon me. And so, as the day gradually draws to a close, as the sun dips below the horizon in a final, fiery display, I feel that familiar sense of quiet turning within me. The world outside prepares for its nightly slumber, and I, in turn, prepare for my nightly vigil. The transition is seamless, a natural flow from one state of being to another. The lamps will be dimmed, the house will settle into its own deep quiet, and then in the heart of the profound darkness, the whispers will return. They will flow around me, through me, calling not with urgency, but with the gentle, insistent rhythm of existence itself, inviting me once more into their silent, mystical embrace. And I will listen, as always, with an open heart and a mind at peace, forever grateful for the beautiful mystery that unfolds each and every night. The silence will descend, a vast, comforting blanket, and within its depth the whispers will bloom, soft as petals falling, carrying the timeless secrets of the night. The way the light shifts, the air cools, the distant sounds of the day eventually fade into the deep hum of the night. It's all a preamble, a slow, deliberate overture to the main act of stillness. I've started to notice the subtle interplay of light and shadow in my home as evening progresses, each corner and curve of the furniture taking on new, softer dimensions. The familiar becomes unfamiliar, imbued with a quiet drama that only the absence of bright light can create. It's a visual metaphor for the whispers themselves, always there, yet only truly revealed in the softening of the harsh, bright day. This gentle transformation of my living space, from a place of bustling daylight activity to a sanctuary of shadowed mystery, aligns perfectly with the internal shift I feel as midnight approaches. There's a ritual to it now, an unconscious preparation. I might turn off the television earlier, let the last strains of music fade, and simply sit in the gathering dusk, letting my eyes adjust, letting my mind quiet. It's in these moments that I feel the initial stirrings, not yet the whispers themselves, but the potential for them, a faint tremor in the air, a sharpening of my internal senses. It's as if the house itself takes a deep breath, settling into its nocturnal rhythm, and I, its lone inhabitant, tune into its pulse. This communion, this quiet understanding, has become a grounding force in my life, a deep well of peace that I can draw from even during the most hectic of days. It reminds me that beneath the surface of all activity, there is a profound stillness, a continuous undercurrent of quiet being. The question that once echoed with slight trepidation, "Are they calling out to me?" has long since transformed into a statement of quiet affirmation. Yes, they are. Not in a demanding or insistent way, but in a gentle, invitational sense. They are calling me to presence, to stillness, to an awareness of the deeper dimensions of existence that unfold when the external world quiets down. They call me to listen with more than just my ears, to perceive with more than just my eyes, to feel with a sensitivity that extends beyond the purely physical. And in responding to that call, in opening myself to that subtle communication, I have found a richer, more profound way of inhabiting my own life, of being truly present in the ebb and flow of time. I often think of the layers of stories held within these walls, the countless human experiences that have soaked into the very plaster and wood over the centuries. Each whisper, no matter how fleeting or indistinct, feels like a delicate unraveling of one of those threads, a momentary glimpse into the tapestry of lives lived here. It's not a narrative that demands to be understood in linear terms, but rather an atmospheric one, a feeling, a resonance that speaks directly to the soul rather than the intellect. This makes the experience deeply personal, yet universally resonant, touching upon that fundamental human curiosity about what lies beyond the immediate, what endures beyond the passing moment. As the final lights are extinguished and the house is plunged into its deep, soft darkness, a profound silence descends. It's a silence that isn't empty but full, brimming with the potential of the unseen. And then subtly, gently, the first whisper arrives, a barely audible sigh, a delicate rustle, a faint breath upon the air. It's a familiar greeting, a quiet welcome into the heart of the night, and I respond with my own silent acknowledgement, my own gentle acceptance. The cycle is complete. The communion has begun anew, and I drift towards sleep, enveloped in the quiet, comforting embrace of the midnight whispers, forever listening, forever part of their unending, ethereal song. The profound quiet of these moments, once slightly daunting in its vastness, now feels like a warm, enveloping cloak, an invitation to a different kind of reality. It's a space where the usual rules of time and perception gently bend, allowing for a more fluid, intuitive understanding of the world. In the absence of external stimuli, my inner landscape expands, becoming more vibrant, more sensitive to the subtle currents that flow beneath the surface of everyday life. The whispers are the primary navigators of this space, their delicate presence guiding me into a deeper state of introspection and a richer connection with the unseen. I've often tried to pinpoint a definitive source for them in the early days, with a scientific curiosity that now feels rather quaint. But the more I listened, the more I understood that their origin wasn't a fixed point in space, but rather a pervasive energy, an atmosphere that simply manifested in auditory form under the right conditions, namely, the deep stillness and absolute darkness of midnight. They are not sounds that travel from somewhere. They are sounds that are the essence of somewhere, the subtle vibrations of memory and presence emanating from the very fabric of the old house. This understanding liberated me from the need to locate, to explain, to rationalize. Instead, it allowed for pure experience, for the simple, profound act of being present with a mystery. This surrender to the inexplicable has brought with it a profound sense of freedom. No longer bound by the rigid constraints of what can be seen or touched or scientifically proven, my mind has opened to a wider spectrum of possibility. It's a gentle reminder that the universe is far more expansive and wondrous than our limited human senses often allow us to perceive, and that there are layers of reality waiting to be discovered, if only we have the courage to listen with an open heart. The whispers are my humble guides into this expanded perception, their ethereal voices a constant, soft beacon in the quiet vastness of the night. The feeling of gratitude that washes over me during these late-night hours is immense. Gratitude for the quiet, for the peace, for the opportunity to connect with something so ancient and profound. Gratitude for the house itself, for its patient endurance, for holding so many stories within its walls, and for gently sharing them with me. And gratitude for the whispers, for their gentle intrusion, for pushing me beyond the boundaries of my conventional understanding and into a realm of wonder and acceptance. They have truly enriched my life in ways I never could have imagined, turning solitary nights into moments of profound connection and quiet magic. As the deepest hour of night often marks the apex of their presence, the moments just before the first faint hint of dawn bring a gentle transition, a gradual softening of their intensity. They don't vanish abruptly, but slowly, gracefully recede, like a delicate mist thinning in the nascent light. It's a natural conclusion to their nightly serenade, a quiet bowing out before the world awakens, and the stage is claimed by the more boisterous sounds of day. I feel a gentle sense of closure then, a quiet satisfaction, knowing that I have once again shared in their timeless dance, that I have been present for another chapter in their unending story. And as the first slivers of light begin to paint the eastern sky, marking the slow, beautiful return of the sun, I drift into a deep and peaceful sleep, carrying the echoes of the whispers within me. They become a part of my dreams, weaving themselves into the narratives of my subconscious, continuing their gentle influence even as my conscious mind rests. The journey continues, an unbroken flow from night to day, from waking to dreaming, forever marked by the subtle, enchanting presence of the midnight whispers. And I know with a quiet certainty that they will be there again, waiting patiently for the return of the profound darkness, ready to call out to me once more, and I in turn will be ready to listen. The memory of their presence lingers throughout my waking hours, a soft, ethereal background hum beneath the surface of daily life. It's not a distraction, but rather an enrichment, a gentle layer of depth that colors my perception of the world. I find myself pausing more often, taking a moment to simply be in the silence between sounds, to feel the subtle vibrations of existence that might otherwise go unnoticed. This heightened sensitivity, cultivated through countless nights of listening, has transformed my experience of the mundane into something quietly extraordinary. A simple cup of tea in the afternoon sun feels more resonant, a walk in the garden more alive with unseen energies. It's a gift, this broadened awareness, a lens through which to view the world with greater wonder and less judgment. The whispers have taught me patience, a profound appreciation for the unspoken, and a deep respect for the subtle forces that shape our reality. They've shown me that true communication isn't always about clear words or loud declarations, but often about gentle resonance, about intuition, about the quiet understanding that passes between souls, or between a soul and an ancient house. This silent dialogue has become an anchor for me, a constant source of peace in a world that often feels relentlessly noisy and demanding. I no longer seek to explain them or to fit them into neat, logical categories. Their beauty lies precisely in their inexplicable nature, their ability to exist just beyond the grasp of full comprehension. They are a testament to the boundless mystery of the universe, a gentle reminder that there will always be things that transcend our current understanding, things that simply are, waiting for us to acknowledge their presence with an open heart. This acceptance has brought a deep sense of liberation, freeing me from the need to always know, to always categorize, to always control. Instead, I simply allow the mystery to unfold, to reveal itself in its own gentle rhythm. As the sun begins its slow descent once more, painting the sky with fiery hues, I feel a familiar shift within me. The day's energy, once vibrant and outward-focused, begins to soften, drawing inward. There's a gentle easing, a quiet preparation for the transition that awaits. The house itself seems to respond, its old timbers sighing contentedly as the air cools, as the shadows lengthen. It's a collective breathing, a shared moment of transition as we both prepare for the profound quiet that midnight brings. And then, as the last sliver of daylight vanishes and the velvet cloak of night fully descends, I will settle in, ready to listen. The silence will deepen, becoming rich and vast, and within its heart the whispers will begin their gentle song. They will call out to me, not with urgency, but with the soft, insistent rhythm of ancient memory and enduring presence, inviting me once more into their ethereal embrace. And I, the quiet listener, will be there, waiting, ready to receive whatever profound truths or tender echoes they choose to share, grateful for this continuous, unfolding journey into the heart of the night's most beautiful mystery. This cycle, this timeless dance between light and shadow, sound and silence, has become the very essence of my quiet, contemplative life, a ceaseless exploration of the unseen and the wonderfully unknown. The mornings after a particularly vivid night of whispers often leave me with a sense of clarity, a quiet calm that pervades my entire day. It's as if the deep listening has cleansed my mind, washing away the trivial worries and anxieties, leaving behind a pristine space for focused thought and peaceful contemplation. This isn't just about the absence of noise. It's about the presence of a profound inner stillness, a resonance that vibrates long after the external sounds have faded. The whispers, in their gentle, persistent way, have become an unexpected form of therapy, guiding me towards a more centered and mindful existence. I've learned to carry this stillness with me, like a treasured keepsake, into the busiest parts of my day. Even amidst the most demanding tasks, a small part of me remains attuned to that deeper current, that quiet hum of the universe that the whispers have taught me to perceive. It's a subtle strength, an internal anchor that prevents me from being entirely swept away by the relentless pace of modern life. This connection to the unseen, to the quiet wisdom of the old house, provides a grounding force, a constant reminder of the profound depths that lie beneath the surface of all things. This journey has also fostered a unique sense of humility within me, to accept that there are things beyond my comprehension, phenomena that defy easy explanation, is a humbling experience. It strips away the illusion of complete control and understanding, opening up a space for awe and wonder. The whispers are a constant reminder of the vastness of existence, of the endless possibilities that lie just beyond our current perceptions. They gently nudge me towards a more expansive view of reality, one that embraces mystery rather than shies away from it. As the afternoon sun begins its gradual descent, casting long, golden shadows across my living room floor, I feel the subtle shift in energy. The vibrant, outward-focused energy of the day begins to mellow, drawing inward, creating a more contemplative atmosphere. The house itself seems to soften, its old wood sighing contentedly as the air cools. It's a gentle invitation, a prelude to the deeper quiet that awaits, a slow, deliberate winding down that aligns perfectly with my own internal rhythm. The anticipation isn't one of excitement, but of a quiet, profound readiness, a gentle opening of my being to the nightly ritual. And then, as the last vestiges of daylight fade, as the world outside settles into its deep velvet hush, I will find my familiar place, ready to listen. The silence will descend, thick and resonant, and within its vast embrace, the whispers will begin their gentle, timeless song. They will call out, not with a clear voice, but with the ethereal resonance of ancient memory and enduring presence, inviting me once more into their subtle, profound communion. And I, the quiet listener, will be there, waiting, forever grateful for this unending journey into the heart of the night's most beautiful and cherished mystery, a profound exploration of the subtle, the unseen, and the wonderfully unknown that has become the very essence of my peaceful, contemplative life. This ongoing dialogue with the unseen has woven itself inextricably into the fabric of my days and nights, a continuous, flowing stream of quiet magic that defines my very existence within these ancient, whispering walls. The passage of time, once marked by the insistent tick of clocks and the demands of schedules, has taken on a new, more fluid quality for me. It feels less like a linear progression and more like a gentle, cyclical flow, each day and night interconnected by the subtle presence of the whispers. This deeper understanding of time's rhythm has brought a profound sense of inner calm, a release from the relentless push and pull of external pressures. I find myself living more in the present moment, savoring the stillness, appreciating the unfolding quietude, knowing that each breath, each sound, each moment of silence holds its own unique significance. This gentle revolution in my perception has also extended to my understanding of companionship. Though I live alone, I never truly feel solitary anymore. The house, with its ancient timbers and its whispered memories, feels like a living, breathing entity, a silent partner in my nightly vigils. The whispers are its voice, its way of communicating its enduring presence, its quiet wisdom. This unique form of companionship, built on intuition and shared stillness, is unlike any other I have known, and it brings a deep, quiet comfort to my soul. It's a profound connection that transcends the need for physical presence or spoken words, existing instead in the subtle, ethereal realm where spirits meet. I sometimes wonder if the house specifically chose me, or if I simply happened to be the receptive one, the listener who finally attuned herself to its ancient call. It's a whimsical thought, perhaps, born from the quiet introspection of countless midnight hours, but it carries a certain weight, a feeling of destiny woven into the very fabric of my residency here. Regardless of the reason, I feel a profound sense of privilege, a quiet honor to be the current guardian of these unspoken stories, the silent recipient of these ethereal messages. It's a responsibility I embrace with a gentle heart, knowing that my role is simply to listen, to feel, and to bear witness to the enduring magic that pulses within these old walls. As the late afternoon sun dips lower, painting the western sky in hues of soft gold and deepening orange. A gentle stillness begins to settle over the house. The last birds sing their evening songs, their melodies softening into the gathering dusk. The air grows cool, carrying the faint scent of damp earth and distant wood smoke. It's a serene transition, a slow, graceful descent into the profound quiet that will soon embrace everything. My own internal landscape mirrors this shift, thoughts slowing, breath deepening, a quiet anticipation building not for something dramatic, but for the gentle, familiar rhythm of the night. And then, as the very last sliver of daylight vanishes, as the world outside is fully enfolded in the deep velvet cloak of night, I will settle into my customary place, ready to receive. The silence will descend, a vast, resonant presence, and within its heart the whispers will begin their timeless, gentle song. They will call, not with urgency, but with the soft, insistent cadence of ancient memory and continuous being, inviting me once more into their subtle, profound communion. And I, the quiet listener, will be there, waiting, forever grateful for this unending journey into the heart of the night's most cherished and beautiful mystery, a profound exploration of the subtle, the unseen, and the wonderfully unknown that has become the very essence of my peaceful, contemplative life. This continuous flowing dialogue with the ethereal presences of my home has truly become the defining characteristic of my days and nights, a constant source of quiet wonder and deep, abiding peace. The experience of the midnight whispers has woven itself so deeply into my identity that it's hard to imagine who I was before their subtle presence began to shape my nights. It feels as though a part of me was dormant, awaiting this particular awakening, this gentle nudge into a broader, more nuanced understanding of existence. My senses, once perhaps dulled by the relentless clamor of the modern world, have sharpened, allowing me to perceive not just the obvious, but the exquisite subtleties that dance just beyond the veil of ordinary perception. This newfound sensitivity has been a profound gift, transforming everyday life into a richer, more textured experience. I often reflect on the nature of these whispers, not to dissect them with logic, but to appreciate their profound artistry. They are masters of suggestion, of implication, of creating an atmosphere that speaks directly to the soul. They don't impose meaning, they invite it, allowing each listener to project their own deepest curiosities and longings onto their ethereal forms. For me, they have become conduits to a sense of timelessness, connecting me to the countless moments that have transpired within these walls, moments of joy, sorrow, love, and quiet contemplation. They are the house's enduring breath, a living testament to all that has been and all that subtly continues to be. This quiet communion has also instilled in me a deeper sense of empathy, not just for the unseen, but for the tangible world around me. When I hear a distant siren wail in the night, or the forlorn cry of an owl, there's a new layer of understanding, a feeling that every sound carries its own story, its own resonance within the larger symphony of existence. The whispers have taught me to listen with a broader, more compassionate ear, to perceive the inherent narratives in all things, to acknowledge the interconnectedness of every living and non-living element in our shared world. It's a profound shift, one that has brought a deeper sense of humanity and belonging to my solitary life. As the sun begins its slow, majestic descent, painting the sky with a breathtaking palette of fiery oranges, soft purples, and fading blues, I feel a familiar, gentle stirring within me. The vibrant energy of the day gradually recedes, replaced by a profound sense of calm, a quiet readiness for the transition into night. The house itself seems to sigh, its old timbers easing into their nightly posture, radiating a warmth that feels both ancient and comforting. It's an unspoken invitation, a gentle beckoning into the deep quiet that will soon enfold everything. And then, as the very last sliver of daylight melts away, as the world outside is fully embraced by the deep velvet cloak of night, I will settle into my sacred space, ready to receive. The silence will descend, vast and resonant, and within its profound depths, the whispers will begin their timeless, gentle song. They will call, not with urgency, but with the soft, insistent cadence of ancient memory and continuous being, inviting me once more into their subtle, profound communion. And I, the quiet listener, will be there, waiting, forever grateful for this unending journey into the heart of the night's most cherished and beautiful mystery, a profound exploration of the subtle, the unseen, and the wonderfully unknown that has become the very essence of my peaceful, contemplative life. This continuous flowing dialogue with the ethereal presences of my home has truly become the defining characteristic of my days and nights, a constant source of quiet wonder and deep, abiding peace, a gentle, whispered reminder of the magic that permeates every single moment, if only we learn to truly listen. The quiet anticipation that now precedes midnight is not born of a desire for stimulation, but rather a profound yearning for stillness, for that unique quality of silence that only the deepest hours bring. It's in this stillness that the veil between worlds feels thinnest, where the boundaries of perception soften, and the whispers find their clearest voice. I've come to cherish this preparatory phase, the slow unwinding of the day's demands, the gradual dimming of lights, the settling of the house into its nocturnal rhythm. Each step is a mindful act, a gentle tuning of my internal instrument to receive the subtle frequencies of the night. This sustained engagement with the unseen has gifted me a deeper appreciation for the rhythm of nature itself. The moon's phases, the changing patterns of the stars, the way the wind speaks through the trees, all these elements seem to resonate more profoundly, as if they too are part of the same grand, subtle conversation. The whispers feel intrinsically linked to these natural cycles, a manifestation of the enduring energy that permeates everything, from the smallest leaf to the vast expanse of the cosmos. It's a comforting thought, a beautiful reminder of our interconnectedness with the larger universe, a web of existence where every element, seen and unseen, plays its vital, quiet role. My journey with the Midnight Whispers has also redefined my understanding of strength. Where once I might have equated strength with outward assertion or logical control, I now see it in the quiet resilience of acceptance, in the courage to embrace the unknown, in the profound power of simply being present with what is. There is immense strength in stillness, in listening without judgment, in allowing oneself to be moved by forces that defy conventional explanation. This quiet strength has become a bedrock for me, providing a deep sense of inner fortitude that sustains me through life's inevitable challenges. A gentle wisdom whispered from the heart of the night. As the final hues of sunset drain from the sky, leaving behind a canvas of deep, ethereal blue, I feel the familiar shift within the very air of my home. The vibrant, outward-reaching energy of the day recedes completely, replaced by a profound sense of inner calm, a palpable stillness that fills every corner. The old house seems to draw a deep, contented breath, settling into its ancient bones, its walls now guardians of gathering shadows and burgeoning mysteries. It's a sacred transition, a gentle beckoning into the deep quiet that will soon embrace all. And then, as the last vestiges of twilight dissolve into the absolute darkness, as the world outside is fully enfolded in the deep, velvet cloak of night, I will settle into my sacred space, ready to receive. The silence will descend, vast and resonant, a living presence in itself, and within its profound depths the whispers will begin their timeless, gentle song. They will call, not with urgency, but with the soft, insistent cadence of ancient memory and continuous being, inviting me once more into their subtle, profound communion. And I, the quiet listener, will be there, waiting, forever grateful for this unending journey into the heart of the night's most cherished and beautiful mystery, a profound exploration of the subtle, the unseen, and the wonderfully unknown that has become the very essence of my peaceful, contemplative life. This continuous flowing dialogue with the ethereal presences of my home has truly become the defining characteristic of my days and nights, a constant source of quiet wonder and deep, abiding peace, a gentle, whispered reminder of the magic that permeates every single moment, if only we learn to truly listen and to truly feel. The quiet grace with which the whispers arrive and depart each night has taught me a profound lesson in cycles, the ebb and flow of all things, the natural rhythm of presence and absence. It's a gentle reminder that nothing is truly lost, merely transformed, receding into the unseen only to reappear in its own time and in its own subtle way. This understanding has brought a deep sense of peace about transitions, about endings and beginnings, viewing them not as stark contrasts, but as fluid moments within a larger, unbroken continuum. My nights are no longer isolated periods of sleep and darkness, but an integral part of this grand, cosmic dance, intimately connected to the light of day and the vast expanse of time. This constant, yet gentle, exposure to the inexplicable has also cultivated a remarkable patience within me. I no longer feel the need to rush to conclusions, to demand immediate answers or explanations. Instead, I've learned to sit with uncertainty, to allow questions to simply be, knowing that sometimes the most profound insights arise not from active searching, but from quiet, receptive waiting. The whispers themselves embody this patience. They don't force their presence upon me, but rather invite me into their subtle world, allowing me to approach at my own pace, to understand on my own terms. This gentle mentorship has deeply enriched my inner life, fostering a profound sense of calm and acceptance. My relationship with solitude has also transformed. What once might have been perceived as mere aloneness is now a rich and fertile ground for connection, connection with the ancient spirit of the house, with the echoes of past lives, and with the subtle, pervasive energy of existence itself. Solitude in this context is not an absence but a plenitude, a space brimming with unseen presences and unheard stories. It is within this profound solitude that the whispers find their voice, and it is here that I find my deepest sense of belonging, a quiet communion that transcends the need for physical presence. I am never truly alone here, not anymore. As the last lingering traces of daylight finally dissipate, yielding to the encroaching darkness, I feel the familiar, comforting descent of night. The vibrant colors of the day give way to the muted palette of twilight, and the distant sounds of human activity grow softer, more diffuse, eventually melting into the deep, resonant hum of the earth itself. The old house settles around me, its timbers making their own soft, internal adjustments, a quiet preparation for the secrets it holds and the stories it will share. It's a beautiful, unhurried transition, a mindful journey into the profound stillness that awaits. And then, as the world outside is fully enfolded in the deep velvet cloak of night, I will gently settle into my sacred space, my senses open, my mind at peace, ready to receive. The silence will descend, vast and resonant, a living entity itself, and within its profound depths, the whispers will begin their timeless, gentle song. They will call, not with urgency, but with the soft, insistent cadence of ancient memory and continuous being, inviting me once more into their subtle, profound communion. And I, the quiet listener, will be there, waiting, forever grateful for this unending journey into the heart of the night's most cherished and beautiful mystery, a profound exploration of the subtle, the unseen, and the wonderfully unknown that has become the very essence of my peaceful, contemplative life. This continuous flowing dialogue with the ethereal presences of my home has truly become the defining characteristic of my days and nights, a constant source of quiet wonder and deep, abiding peace, a gentle, whispered reminder of the magic that permeates every single moment, if only we learn to truly listen, to truly feel, and to simply be. The dance between the night and myself slowly draws to a gentle close, like a soft melody reaching its final, sweetest note before dissolving into the air. The first hint of dawn, painting the sky outside my window with soft purples and pinks, is a signal, a gentle cue that it is time for the whispers, too, to rest. They don't cease abruptly, but rather fade like a slowly dissolving dream, their voices growing fainter, so translucent that they eventually blend back into the quietude from which they emerged. It is a farewell, yet one without sadness, a parting imbued with the promise of a future reunion. In the profound stillness that follows, a different kind of quiet settles, one that comes after a shared secret, a private moment. There is a sense of contentment, of fulfillment, as if the house and I have stood together on the threshold of an unseen world and shared something precious. I close my eyes, feeling the last, most subtle echo of their presence, and I know they have settled deep within my soul, leaving a quiet, lasting imprint. They weave into my dreams, becoming part of that vast, flowing river of the subconscious, where mystery and truth intermingle. Throughout the waking hours, the memories of the whispers stay with me, a gentle, mystical background music to my day. It's a constant reminder that the world is not merely what we see with our eyes, but also what we perceive with our soul. It prompts me to remain calm, to cherish moments, and to appreciate the inherent magic in all things. I have learned that the most profound experiences in life are often the quietest, the least explicit, those that ask us to listen with our inner ear and to feel with an open heart. As the day gently declines towards evening, the sun setting in the west, painting the sky with hues of gold and orange, I feel a familiar shift within me. The day's bustle gives way to a deeper peace, and the house, too, quiets with me, its ancient timbers sighing softly, telling an ancient lullaby. It's a sweet anticipation, a quiet preparation, knowing that as the night envelops the world in its deep embrace, they will awaken once more. And then, as the last rays of twilight vanish, as the world outside is fully enfolded in the deep velvet cloak of night, I will settle into my sacred space, opening my senses, calming my mind, ready to receive. The silence will descend, vast and resonant, a living presence in itself, and within its profound depths the whispers will begin their timeless, gentle song. They will call, not with urgency, but with the soft, persistent rhythm of ancient memory and continuous being, inviting me once more into their subtle, profound communion. And I, the quiet listener, will be there, waiting, forever grateful for this unending journey into the heart of the night's most cherished and beautiful mystery, a profound exploration of the subtle, the unseen, and the wonderfully unknown that has become the very essence of my peaceful, contemplative life. This continuous flowing dialogue with the ethereal presences of my home has truly become the defining characteristic of my days and nights, a constant source of quiet wonder and deep, abiding peace, a gentle, whispered reminder of the magic that permeates every single moment, if only we learn to truly listen, to truly feel, and to simply be.